But if you look at him and you look at his team, and they are, yes, they are, there's some fear there, but there's focus, there's excitement, there's purpose, there's mission. I mean, that is there's no depression there, right? There is no anxiety there. There's no sort of worrying about, perceived threats. There's dealing with real threats. And so, it's a reminder to us that mental health is largely an inside job. Now, again, of course, if you've had a trauma, you have a greater chance of developing mental health. But here's what's so extraordinary is that, if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, the number one factor is not the size of the trauma. That's not it. The number one factor is if you are big on rumination, if you're somebody who overthinks things, and if you ever find yourself, there's sort of like circles of, compulsive kind of circular thinking where, the thinking doesn't really get you anywhere, but you just sort of stay stuck in it. That actually is a bigger determinant of getting a PTSD. So it's internal. And so, wow, this was a long way to answer your question, Ken. But yeah, I feel really passionate about this, and I see the next leg of my career as really focusing on what I like to call mental wealth.
No, I love the extended, answer, Just, because there was a saying that came to mind, and because I read so many historical books, I can't tell you where it came from, but it is basically with nothing to fight for, the people no longer had anything to live for. And so as you were speaking about, people's this igniting sense of, being energized by fighting for something, fighting for an ideal. And when I tie it into today's society, where some people aren't facing conflict, where people are in, as you said, more comfortable lives, right? Is it because there's nothing for them to fight for at this point that causes the rumination? Is it the lack of purpose? Could it be lack of direction? Like, what causes us to stay in this rumination state?
Yeah, sure. A few things there, and thank you for that quote. I absolutely love that. I know a good quote when I steal one. With nothing to fight for, there's nothing to live for. Is that it?
With nothing to fight for, the people that had nothing to live for.
People had nothing to live for. I was just doing a session earlier for one of the big banks. I do a presentation called Bounce Forward Better on the 5 P's to bouncing forward. And one of the P's is purpose. And for the first time, I actually linked purpose to solving a challenge. So they started off the session and everybody had to come up with a particular challenge, personal, business, whatever it was. And what occurred to me actually in the preparation that I was doing for the session is that, whatever challenge you've got in your life right now, and we've all got a challenge, right? You're either in a problem, emerging from a problem, or about to get into a problem, right? That's what life is. Life is, if you've got a problem, congratulations, you're alive. But, if you look at your problem, personal, business, financial, relation, whatever it is, and you kind of go, oh gosh, that's just an awful problem that shouldn't be here. And I don't know what's here, and it's so unfair, and it's so awful, and right? And I actually had one of those yesterday. Something happened, a business issue where somebody let me down with regards to something which could end up becoming a 20,000 Rand mistake, right? And that then became my problem. Now, if I just think about that as a problem, it's just, right? It's not great. I mean, yes, I'll get into action mode and I'll sort it out and I'll deal with whatever I have to deal with. But if I link that problem to my purpose, it really does change, because my purpose is I equip and inspire people and organizations to realize their potential. Now, if I see that problem, that solving that problem would enable me to fulfill my purpose, I become actually far more fired up and motivated, right? If I see that problem, if I see solving the problem as demonstrating my purpose, right? If I can solve this problem, I demonstrate to others, the ability to equip them to realize potential, because solving problems is necessary to realizing potential. The moment I link my purpose to it, it became welcome, actually. rather. So instead of resisting it, I was welcoming it, right? The idea that, these challenges are not sent to obstruct, but to instruct, right? They're not on the way, they or rather not in the way, they're on the way, right? But those are, cute sayings, and I love them, but I could feel that when I linked it to the purpose. And this is Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor. He said, "He is a why to live can be almost anyhow." You will, if you've got a powerful reason, you will do whatever you need to.